All right, fight fans, welcome. We are breaking down UFC 324. Now, I know the main card got all the headlines, but let me tell you, the prelims delivered some of the most insane action we have seen all year, live from the T-Mobile Arena in Vegas. If you happen to miss it, don't worry, you are in exactly the right place. Let's get into it.
So you gotta understand, this wasn't just another fight night. No, this was the big launch of the UFC's Paramount Plus era. That means the pressure was on for every single fighter to go out there and deliver, to kick this whole new chapter off with a massive bang. And oh boy, they did not disappoint. The bar for the rest of the night was set incredibly high.
And trust me, that is not an exaggeration. The night was just defined by these finishes that were so ridiculously close to the bell you could barely even breathe. So if you skip the prelims, we have got you covered. These are the moments that had the entire arena absolutely buzzing.
The night started with two of the most dramatic, down-to-the-wire finishes you will probably ever see. Seriously. And it all kicked off with an unforgettable promotional debut.
So, first up, we've got Ty Miller making his big UFC debut. This 26-year-old came out and showed off some unbelievably slick boxing. And this welterweight fight against Adam Fugit, it was a back-and-forth war from the very first second. Miller looked calm, he looked sharp, and you could tell he was hunting for a statement win.
And what a statement he made. Just look at that time on the screen. 4 minutes and 59 seconds. Miller hurts Fugit late in the round and just chases him down relentlessly, and he gets the stoppage with 1 second left on the clock. You literally cannot write a more dramatic debut than that. Okay, so you're thinking, that's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, right? A finish at 4:59 is already super rare. But what happened next? It was just lightning striking the same place twice. It was absolutely unbelievable.
That's right. The very next fight, heavyweight Josh Hokit just completely mauled Denzel Freeman, dragged him down to the mat, and just overwhelmed him. And as those final seconds were ticking off the clock, the ref jumps in and waves it off at the exact same time. 4:59 of the first round. The crowd just went nuts.
And listen, this guy Hokit, he is not your typical prospect. We're talking about a former NFL player and an All-American wrestler. You take that kind of raw power, that elite athleticism, and you combine it with a perfect 100% finishing rate, that makes him an absolute must-watch fighter in the heavyweight division.
But you know, it wasn't all just last-second knockouts. The night also gave us some really high-level strategic chess matches. We're shifting gears now from pure chaos to just calculated dominance.
Middleweight prospect Ateba Godier, a guy who's known for his electrifying finishes, he got pushed like he's never been pushed before. He went up against a really tough Andre Puliev, and for the first time in his UFC career, he actually had to go the full 15 minutes and leave it in the hands of the judges.
Gaethje ended up getting the win, and he did it by starting with a bang. He dropped Puliev with the very first punch he threw. Now, he couldn't find that finish, but he was consistently landing the harder, more damaging shots the whole fight. So it wasn't the knockout that fans were hoping for, but it was a super important experience that now extends his win streak.
And for the final prelim of the night, we got a straight-up masterclass in control. Top bantamweight contender Umar Nurmagomedov took on the former two-time champion Deiveson Figueiredo in a fight that was all about one thing: technical superiority.
Just take a look at that scorecard. A clean sweep, 30-27 across the board. That means all three judges gave every single round to Nurmagomedov. That is what pure dominance looks like, especially against a former world champion. It really doesn't get any clearer than that.
So how'd he do it? Well, Umar controlled every single phase of the fight. He used this diverse kicking game to keep the distance exactly where he wanted it, and then as soon as he got his hands on Figueiredo, his chain wrestling was just on a completely different planet. Figueiredo, who's a super dangerous fighter, had maybe one brief little moment of success, but Umar shut it down immediately. It was just a masterful performance.
All right, from that tactical wizardry, let's get back to the pure violence. We're gonna ramp that energy right back up and look at the other fighters who made sure the judges could just sit back and relax. This is the art of the finish.
Man, the stakes could not have been higher for Alex Perez. I mean, this guy is a former flyweight title challenger, but he was on a really tough losing streak, and he desperately needed a win to stay in the conversation. He came out looking like a man on a mission.
And this is exactly how you get it done. First, boom, a sharp left hook drops his opponent. Then Perez just unleashes an absolute onslaught, giving him zero space, zero time to recover. One more thudding left hand lands clean, and the referee has no choice but to jump in. A massive, absolutely vital finish for Alex Perez.
So we go from a first-round stoppage to one that went deep into the third. The veteran light heavyweight Nikita Krylov was in a really tough fight, And as the clock ticked down, you could just feel the tension building and building towards some kind of dramatic ending.
And you won't believe it. Another finish in the dying seconds. With just 3 seconds left in the entire fight, Krylov lands a picture-perfect right hand that ends it in spectacular fashion. What an incredible display of that killer finishing instinct.
And this wasn't just any old win for Krylov. Nah, he snapped his opponent's hot streak, he controlled the fight from start to finish, and he etched his name into the record books. He's now tied for the 5th most finishes in the division's entire history. Just a huge night for the veteran.
Okay, so after all that chaos, the buzzer beaters, the tactical shutouts, the veteran statements, what's the big picture here? What's the major takeaway from this incredible night of prelim fights?
All right, here's the breakdown. We saw 2 explosive new prospects, Miller and Hokit, arrive in style. We witnessed a resurgent Alex Perez basically yell to the world that he's a contender again. Veterans like Krylov and Gaethje got massive, career-defining wins, and it all kind of led to the big question mark hanging over Umar Nurmagomedov.
And that, right there, is the million-dollar question we're left with. On a card that was defined by these wild, explosive finishes, does a flawless but, well, tactical win carry the same weight? See, in a bantamweight division that is just stacked with killers, some people argue you need those spectacular finishes to get a title shot. But others believe that pure, untouchable dominance is its own statement. So will that technical perfection be enough for Umar? That's the debate every single fight fan is having right now.